yourself an outgoing party guy, and you're sweating some lawn jock. Jesus Christ!
All right, welcome to the Regular or Menthol podcast, where we discuss Kino movies. My name is Tate, and my co-host is Chris. We give a little thoughts on the movie, our experience. Then we discuss specific scenes that we like, followed up with our Kino rating. Okay, and then today, folks, we're talking about the movie Swingers.
Swingers. 1996.
An aspiring actor in Los Angeles can't get over his ex-girlfriend, so his friend decides to help him by calling him money over and over again until he stops being a pussy. We also see the importance of pulling guns on random people in a parking lot who mistakenly bumped into you. Now, Chris, talk to me, about the first time watching this movie for you.
This movie I watched, I think, back in 2009 after I was going through a breakup. I always tell people that this is like the perfect breakup movie. Because, I don't know, it just, coming from a guy's standpoint, I guess, I don't know. But it basically touches all the things, feelings, I guess, and then, overcoming of a relationship or breakup, I should say. We'll talk about it throughout, but yeah, Jon Favreau is the main character. He breaks up with his girlfriend, and Vince Vaughn is there to kind of get him through it. It's pretty funny. It is a comedy. Would you say this is a comedy?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny.
It is funny. Yeah, I don't know what you'd even call this, but anyway, back in 2009, first time I saw it, two buddies of ours, Venor and Joe, basically demanded that I watch this to kind of get over the breakup. And yeah, I can definitely vouch for this being a great breakup overcoming movie.
Did it work for you?
How about you? Oh, it worked. Yeah. I mean, but we'll touch on like what they say throughout and how, getting over breakup, whatever. But yeah, I think it works. We'll talk about it later. But what about you?
Okay, so it must have been the early 2000s. I actually have a distinct memory of seeing this movie, but it was as a result of my brother had this incredibly powerful 2 DVD box set.
Oh boy! Yep, remember those?
Yep. I
remember.
Made and the movie Made and Swingers DVD box set, and I was introduced at this point to the Vaughn cinematic universe.
Is it not the same? Almost the same movie. It's both Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same like banter and going back and forth with each other. Swingers is a better movie, I would say. I actually watched Made first, and Made is not as popular, but Made is also very good and pretty funny. But, I went back after watching Made and watched Swingers, and I was like, this is fantastic as well. So,
yeah.
Highly recommend the 2 DVD box set if you can find it.
I remember those, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's overall thoughts. This is a 1996 movie. This is like, I don't know, was this the first Jon Favreau movie, I guess? I don't know.
No, he was he was actually the cinematic universe.
I mean,
it starts with
was
Rudy.
He the director of this? Well, there you go. But I'm saying, didn't he direct this? Or maybe I'm wrong with that.
No, he didn't direct it.
Who cares? Who cares?
He wrote it.
The point being is, he wrote it. I got it. Okay. So this is just a 1996 movie, but it gives you very 50s Vegas vibes. The soundtrack, the wardrobe, just the general vibe of the movie, if you call it that. A lot of swing music. Is that the 50s even? I don't know. Perhaps.
Well, in that time, there was a swing revival.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible thing to see in the movie, because it's just a very early 90s vibe. But you're like, wait a second, is this the 1990s or is this the 1950s? Obviously it's the 90s, but there's so much
there's
50s
heavy
vibe to it that
right.
it's kind of strange to say.
To your point, this movie, so he wrote this, Jon Favreau, but it just struck me as this movie was probably just so easy to shoot because these dudes are literally living these characters. They're aspiring actors in LA in the 90s. And it's just like they're normal. We'll get into all that scenes and whatever, or the good ones at least. And yeah, I mean, it's just probably just, daily stuff for them.
Mm-hmm. We watch this movie, there's a lot of just 90s stuff in it. I don't know how to even describe it other than that. You just look at it and you're like, oh, this is the early 90s. The way the film looks, the independent movie type feel to this, the stuff that they're wearing, like Sue at one point has a chain wallet.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, remember them?
Oh yeah.
The rockabilly swing dance vibe in this movie. It's like they use pictures in the opening credits and it's like a different world. You're saying it's not relatable at all when you look outside your window today.
The 90s fashion is kind of funny too, like you said, with the chain wallet, but the girl at the party has like a backpack on, and Mikey, which is Jon Favreau's character, references it. He's like talking about how he like hates all the chicks in LA at the beginning, and he's like, and you know, I sit around waiting to talk to some girl who's not even interested in me at a party, and I'm supposed to be impressed because she's, I don't know, wearing a backpack. That's like such a funny line, and it's like, sure enough, in the party they go to, this chick is like wearing a backpack. I guess that backpacks were like, small backpacks were a thing at one point in the 90s. I think they're kind of coming back, or there's like little strap bags that people wear, but regardless.
Even the actress's hair, the way their hair is done is
dude, yeah, it's wild. We'll touch on all that stuff too, because, you know, I think we have a couple notes of things like that later.
So you want to just go right into the opening scene here that we're like, they're sitting in a diner, Mike and Trent. Mike's talking about his ex-girlfriend, how much he misses her, and can't grasp the concept that he can't do anything to get her back.
Yeah, he's talking to, I think he's talking to the guy from Office Space. What's that dude's name again?
The actor's name, Ron Livingston. He plays Rob in this
movie.
You go,
yep. Yeah. So he's talking to him and it kind of lays it out what he's going through, and, you know, he wants her back and yada, yada, yada. But we'll hash that out later. But speaking of diners, I know you're a big diner guy. Talk to me about diners.
Well, you know, diners, I think, are just disappearing from America. And what I'm referring to is like your 24-hour diner type place. I remember going to a movie theater, and afterwards you just go to the diner. It could be 2:00 in the morning and they'd be open and thriving. They were already being destroyed, I feel like, by the time 5 years ago. And then COVID hit and just absolutely decimated them. It could have had something to do with the fact that prices on everything doubled in 2021. That might have had a little bit of an impact on their business model. I don't know. You know, everyone they can't afford anything, and they're going.
Well, diners are like the cheapest option for food that you go out, and it's like it's like ungodly expensive,
right? So like
to go to a diner.
Someone is conceivably making the food at a diner for you, right? It might not be fresh ingredients or whatever, but someone is making it on a grill, so it's still a relatively cheap option where you can go and get food made. And now that's pretty much like a luxury because it's so expensive. Now, I will say this.
Yeah, really.
There's a diner near me that was 24 hours. I almost died outside of it. Different story. But it would be packed all the time. And now I went there the other day. It's only open till 3:00.
Very, very odd.
Well, the whole point of me saying this is it's crazy seeing a scene where these guys are in a diner, because it happens multiple times in this movie. And it's like, I don't know, 12, 1, 2, who knows what times they're eating food in this movie, but a lot of times it's in a diner. You just don't know what time it is. And would that exist in today's day? I don't know.
So the diners you have down here, or I should say we have down here, are not what I grew up with. So I'm like from the country. The diner that we had was Perkins.
Okay.
Now Perkins rules, but I didn't have your typical 24-hour diner. But Perkins was open, I believe, till super late, or maybe even 24 hours back in the day. But that whole mom and pop diner wasn't introduced to that till I was like, I don't know, 20 years old.
I mean, you see kind of scenes in movies where they're in a diner, and it's kind of just interesting to me because I want that experience, but there's never any diners near me that are just open at night. when I'm going to want to go to a diner at like 10 o'clock at night because I didn't make any food. I don't want to go at like 7 to have a traditional dinner at dinner time. I'm schizophrenic and will just stay up all night. So I want to go later in the night. Don't have that option anymore. Used to back then. Hey, you want a coffee? You go in, you get a diner, maybe a bit of pie. Plus you take your dates there. You could take your date
What
there.
else are they going to take from us? What else are they going to take from us?
I don't know. What's next on this list?
What else do we got
Well,
here?
it goes back to his insane apartment, his True Detective apartment that he's living in, where he's listening to his answering machine messages, which happens a bunch of times. Because he's desperately wanting his ex-girlfriend from 6 months ago to call him. Now,
and like everyone's checking back in on him to like, I guess like grandma and everyone was like, did you get the part? Because he's like an aspiring actor, and it's like funny. It's relatable. I mean, it's as an actor, this whole movie is littered with those conversations with like other actors and family members, and it's like, did you get the part? It's like, nah, I didn't.
It's depressing.
I didn't get the part. Stop asking me. So this is adding to his depression of the breakup.
Now, this movie, I don't know how well versed you are in the world of pickup artists. This was pickup artist was like a big thing in the early 2000s. It was about 10 years after this movie came out. But a lot of the stuff that's in this movie are people that were into pickup artists can pick up on it immediately and just relate to it. For instance, the fact that this Mike guy is pining over his ex-girlfriend of 6 months ago. This is something called one-itis. Are you familiar with this?
Excuse me?
Are you familiar with this term at all?
One-itis?
This is very cringe, this pickup artist stuff, but the philosophy behind it is interesting, I thought. But the terms and they have all these little terminology and whatnot. One-itis is when you are pining just for one girl and like, that's the one girl for me.
That's it. She's the one.
It might not even be someone you've even talked to. It might be a girl at a coffee shop and you just want that one girl, and it comes off as like extremely desperate. So you exude this
for sure.
complete aura or energy of just desperation, and they can smell it on you.
Yeah, there's a scene later in the movie that we'll talk about, but yeah, I guess that would accurately depict it.
And I think it's funny. I'm watching this movie the other day. He says this line at the diner. He goes, "I'm sorry, we always talk about the same thing all the time." And I'm like, that's just us, dude. Yeah. That's me. Like, I just talk about the same thing over and over and over again. I feel like I'm just destroying people's ears. I don't know.
Yeah. Then we go to
it's still in his apartment, and I just love the fact that he calls Trent on the phone. And there's messages, like the whole thing of answering messages could be foreign to people watching this now. But back in the day, you had an answering machine and people would just call your phone and just hope that you're there and leave a message if you're not, right? So like, I just loved phones way better back in the day because I love the idea of the mystery behind it. Are they there? Who knows who's going to pick up? It could be this girl's dad that you're calling. You could be calling.
Remember those days?
This girl to go out with her, and it's her dad picking up. You don't know what you're going to get on the other end.
Remember those days very well.
And so Trent, he's talking to Mike. He says, "You're going to Vegas," and of course he's not into it.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn is Trent, and he's like the best friend in this movie. Mm-hmm. He's like the number one wingman, number one like pick you up guy, kind of when you're down. He's on the phone with Trent, and basically Vince Vaughn's like, "Yeah, we're going to Vegas tonight," out of nowhere. He's like, "I'm not going to Vegas. I'm not going to Vegas." Nothing. 10 seconds later, they're driving to Vegas. But yeah, pick up on the Vegas part here.
Well, Trent is such a good friend above and beyond what you normally see in any movie, where all he wants to do is he just wants to have Mike back to normal, feeling better again. So he does all this stuff in the movie just for that purpose. Very selfless character, I would say.
100%.
And he seems like a kind of guy that could talk people into anything. Mike's talking to him. He says he doesn't want to go to Vegas or whatever. It's a weeknight. And you just know before the sentence is even over that he's going to go to Vegas. I mean, obviously, but and then it just cuts like mid-sentence and they're in the car leaving.
In the car, right.
And one of the things this became a meme back in the 90s was Vegas, baby. On Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby. Vegas!
I love that it's the next scene is them driving to Vegas, and it's the realism of them being all excited, enthusiasm, talking about what they're going to do and everything. And the next shot is it cuts to them in the car still going, but there's zero enthusiasm because it's probably like a 3-hour drive or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. From Vegas or from LA to Vegas, I know it's like, I think I mapped it out. I think it was like 3 hours, 4 hours or something like that.
So you're driving, you can't just keep that enthusiasm up the whole time.
No.
It has to drop down. But the fact that they just cut that scene in where Trent is trying to keep the enthusiasm up because he's just trying to make this a trip for Mike. He's Vegas, baby. Yeah, like he does it so half-assed the second time that it's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, and then his anxiety kicks in and he's like, "Where's your suit? You got to be wearing your suit when we pull up." Mikey to Trent. He's like, "Relax, man. I got it in the back seat." He's like, "Nope, turn around. I'm going home." So he basically makes him put his suit on just to pull up. And as soon as they get there, he just takes out like $300. That's all he has to gamble with. And then there's this whole scene where they sit down to blackjack and they change $300 and it's like 3 chips.
Yeah, he mistakenly went to the high roller. I mean, I don't know if it's high roller. It's a $100 hand table.
Right.
And he has $300. Trent convinces him immediately to double down because you have to in this scenario. And the dealer got
$600.
Yeah, immediately loses $200.
Yeah,
gets up.
Yeah, so and he gets up to goes to the cheaper table, and some old lady just keeps hitting until she gets to 21, and like they're all just sitting around. It's pretty comical. Yeah. I mean, Vegas scene is kind of whatever, but they get dinner after that. And it's more of Mike sulking and Trent trying to build him up, being the good friend. But that's when they meet the waitress, right? The cocktail waitress. Mm-hmm. And they talk to her. And basically, Mike is saying how Trent's disrespectful to her, the way he talks to her. And he's like, "Dude, it's money. What are you talking about?" The whole time, Trent's telling him, he's like, "Your money, dude. You don't even know it." Right? He has no confidence. Your confidence is low. You need to build yourself back up.
He doesn't believe it yet. That's the part. See, Mike and Trent are two opposite ends of the spectrum here. Mike is a doomer pessimist, and Trent is a optimist. Correct. Okay?
Right.
Whatever you actually believe is what's true. So when Mike says stuff, like he's saying to Trent, like, "This is cringe, the stuff that you're saying," right?
Mm-hmm.
If he was saying,
he's like, "Nah, dude, it's not."
Yeah, if Mike was the one saying it, it would be cringe because he doesn't believe in what he's saying.
Right.
But because Trent believes 100% in what he's doing and believes that he is in fact money, then it comes across that way and the girls buy into it. The psychology behind that, it's a little manifestation for you, a little Neville Goddard, if you will. It's all about like what you believe in yourself and how you say it. He could say, like, Trent is saying the most cringe stuff, like, "Oh, I'll time you." He's saying to the waitress, "I'll time you on the drinks."
Yeah.
You could say
there's a nice 50-cent piece with your name on it.
Right. Like that's if Mike was saying that with zero energy, she'd be like disturbed by it. She'd be going to HR about it, okay? Because Trent is kind of like has a way with words and is saying it a certain way and believes in himself.
That too, but he's just got an energy about him. You know what I mean? He's got a ton of confidence, and what ends up happening is they bring 2 girls or they go back to their place or whatever. Trent's about to hook up with the chick, and then Mike just goes all in on the ex-girlfriend and talking to the chick he's supposed to be hooking up with about her. Goes and makes a phone call. And what does he have, like a calling card or something?
I'll have a calling. There's another thing that no one would have any idea what that means if you're like over 20 or under 20 or whatever. Calling cards to save money so that if you're calling long distance, it doesn't cost the person money. You used to be able to put dollars on a card and somehow transfer that to the phone you're using. I don't even remember how it worked, to be honest with you.
It's so schizo. But anyway, they end up leaving before he cock blocks Trent.
Well,
and then they're driving home. What's that?
Trent is such a good friend to Mike that he's banging this chick, or about to.
Right.
But before he does the deed, though, he gets up and he says, "Hold on, I got to check on my boy." Opens up the door like a little crack and sees that he's hooking up with the other girl, and then he's like,
but he's talking to her. He's talking to her
yeah.
Instead of hooking up with her. He sees it from the back of his head and he's like, "Oh, all right, cool."
Closes it.
And sure enough, yeah, he gets wrecked. Absolutely wrecked.
But I love that he's just like, "Hold on, I got to check on my boy."
Check on my boy. Yeah.
So he's totally selfless. He's not even going to bang this chick. He's just going to wait to see if Mike is doing his thing first.
Yeah. Trent in this movie is such a good friend, wingman, total bro. But the thing that caught me was when they're driving back, and Trent's taking a piss on the side of the road, and I think Mike says something like, "I'm sorry for ruining the night" or whatever. Or I guess it was early morning, and he's like, "I didn't like her anyway."
Yeah.
He's like, "What?" And he just kind of just always plays it down. You know what I mean? To the point where they start talking about his ex. And Trent's like, "You're sweating some lawn jockey," because the guy is some, I don't know, he goes around Central Park with horses or whatever, it's a tour guide. So again, just Trent building him up to the point where Mike even says, "All right, just shut up, let's just go." And normally Trent would be like, "All right, dude, relax, I'm trying to help you out here." But he just slides right off him, right? Like everything else in this movie, it doesn't take it to heart. He just totally plays him in and just rolls out.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible. Mike says the only reason he had a girlfriend was that he got with her in college and she was young and stupid. This is an incredible cope. He doesn't understand that he is, in fact, money, Mike.
Right.
So he breaks up with his girl and then has to rationalize to himself how this could have happened. And he basically, in his own mind, comes to the conclusion that he was not good enough for her.
Right.
And the reason is because of this silly nonsense about her they met in college and she's too young to understand the world. And that's why she eventually opened her eyes and broke up with him. A silly, completely insane notion. And I think, I don't know this for a fact, doesn't he break up with her by moving out to LA to pursue acting?
Yes. Yeah. Because Ron Livingston says, "You left, dude."
Right.
At the end of the movie, he's talking about it. He's like, "I don't know, man. You left. What did you expect her to do?" So, yeah, I don't know if it ever really kind of hashes out what happened there. But, yeah, at least you get that part from Ron Livingston's character. And he's like, "You left, dude."
The way Trent says this, Mike, you're sitting around your stuffy apartment drinking orange juice.
He says stuffy apartment 4 times.
It's a little tough
sitting
love, but he's
stuffy apartment.
Yeah. It's a little tough love, but he says it in such a way where, you can't hate him.
No.
He's not being real hardcore about giving him shit.
Well, the point is, I guess what I'm saying is, he could have been a much harder on Mike.
Right, exactly.
And you see it, and we'll talk about it in a minute with the scene with Sue in the parking lot, but he coddles him pretty much throughout, and he's like, "I'm going to give him his time to get over this." Right. Where other people are kind of pressuring him like, "Dude, come on." But yeah, I mean, the ultimate friend, ultimate character. Yeah. Great.
So then the next scene is, we're back in LA. They meet up at Sue's apartment. And
this is the best scene of the movie for me.
He walks in and they're playing NHL 93 on Sega Genesis.
NHLPA 93, which, by the way, fun fact, this is the only NHL game, apparently, that I looked up, where you can make someone's head bleed.
Yeah.
Because Sue and Trent are playing. I guess Sue's a huge Kings fan. And Vince Vaughn obviously is a Chicago guy, if you know his movies. And they're going back and forth, just talking shit the whole time, like anyone does playing games, video games, especially back in that era. Because, nowadays, I'm sure you'll touch on this, but, you can't talk shit because everyone's playing remotely. But so they're playing, and he's like, "Let me make his head bleed." And then Trent, while they pause it to get the food that comes, the delivery, Trent unpauses it and lines up Wayne Gretzky and like lays him out and makes his head bleed. Side note.
I mean, people watching this probably are like, is this real? Did this kind of stuff happen? Yes. Like, this is the thing that happened in the 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd sit at your apartment with a couple of your boys and you'd pregame and play video games with each other. And video games weren't seen as something super nerdy like it is today. It was like you played a sports game with your boys and pregame, right? And in my experience, this is actually a very accurate scene of what happens, because he gets back from getting the food. He realizes Trent unpaused the game and crippled his guy in the game, injured him. And a fight breaks out where they start wrestling each other. That's accurate. That I've seen that happen multiple times in real life and been a part of it, where someone does something underhanded in a video game, but you're sitting right next to each other. So a fight breaks out. It's not real.
Dude,
it's like a wrestling match. It's not a real fight, but that doesn't happen anymore. The internet has just gotten rid of that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's me growing up with three brothers and being super competitive and literally playing Sega and fist fighting my brothers because of a disagreement and argument and just talking shit over a 1v1 game.
Oh, yeah.
On Sega.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
I have started a family fight down the shore. Not me personally, but my brother flipped out something later because he was all worked up because I beat him like 9 games in a row in Tecmo Bowl. Okay. So he took that anger.
Don't you own your brother in like every video game?
Every game. It's disturbing, honestly. But that's too long to talk about, honestly.
Yeah.
But what would you say was your best version of NHL, because they came out with one every year?
Yeah, so I remember the one in this movie, 93. I remember 95. They all kind of looked the same in the 90s, I guess, depending on the platform. Yeah. And I remember that style and that look of NHL games. We had a neighbor who was big on NHL, so my brothers would play it a lot. But I never really was big on NHL. And then I remember, I referenced our buddy Joe, we played NHL 2K5 for PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. Bro, you want to talk about? I mean, so my answer to that is NHL 2K5 with Martin St. Louis on the front. Dude, this game, let me tell you something. We worked at a pizza shop, and we had a little TV in there. We just play this game like all day.
In the pizza shop.
In the pizza shop, in the office. And so we would always hang out. It's the same exact vibe as this movie. Coincidentally enough, they're the ones that tell me to watch this movie. But we would play just like tournaments of this game, to NHL 2K5 for PS2. And dude, it was to the point where my brother, who's actually really good at games, him and Joe would play, and they like talk so much shit. It got to the point where like the quote was, "Dude, I don't know if I can play this game with you anymore because it might ruin our friendship." Like, this game was so competitive, and just the gameplay was so sick that it would cause arguments like between friends. So yeah, the 90s versions of these NHL games, I don't know, but 2K5 was my first introduction to like a real NHL game where I was into. NHL 2K5, try it out. It's epic.
Yeah. I think I like 96. I remember playing it in school where they wheeled one of the TVs in, and we had like everyone playing in a tournament together. And you want to talk about just people just talking shit to each other. It was unbelievable, nonstop. You had people talking shit from the crowd, but unlike the internet, they're sitting right next to you. So like it could get violent.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. You can't read people's faces, right?
Yeah.
When they're talking on a headset playing video games, right? You got to be in person next to the person. It just changes the whole experience.
You're able to kind of say something to them in person and throw them off their game. That's why
100%.
When you're playing online, it immediately devolves into the most insane yelling because it doesn't have as much effect. So you have to just go right to the lowest common denominator and say the most crazy stuff to them to get a rise out of them. But in person, it's so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Huge Reservoir Dogs kind of
lore. Yeah.
Inspirations in this movie. Sue has a Reservoir Dogs poster in his apartment. They also have a scene that mimics the beginning scene in Reservoir Dogs where they're walking down the alleyway, and they have it in this movie too, which is an obvious reference. Right. And a little gun autism. Sue has a Smith & Wesson 659, which is the same gun that they give to the criminals in Reservoir Dogs.
Only you would notice that.
Yeah, I had to know. I looked. I was like, wow. Oh, I got to look at that.
Yeah. So there's another thing too, where there's like a circle shot before they go out, and they're at one of the apartments drinking I think it was before they go to the Dresden. We'll talk about the Dresden in a minute, but it's the same circle shot as Reservoir Dogs at the beginning. So yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's cool and they're talking about in that circle shot like different types of shots from movies, I believe.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there's a heavy Reservoir Dogs influence in this movie. This was before they go to the party in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
They were at the bar, then they're back, drinking whatever, and then they're going to the party in the hills. Party in the hills scene, pretty wild. He got the dude, Charles. He's like, the black dude, he's like, every time they go somewhere, he's like, let's roll out of here. This place is dead anyway. It's like every time he says it, the place is packed. And like, it's just insane. I noticed in this, there's a bunch of jump cuts. So like, pretty much throughout the movie, but there's a scene at the party where Mikey's talking to somebody that he thinks he knows. He ends up not knowing him. But there's like a real quick jump cut. It's like, it doesn't transition well. Goes to show this is like one of their first movies. I don't know. But then it leads to, of course, the funny thing of it is, and you see this twice, is like Sue and Trent, as soon as they go anywhere, they're like on the lookout for chicks, right?
They're locked in.
And they're locked in immediately. So they're at this party, and they're just Mikey's with Ron Livingston's character, Rob or whatever. And like, they're just kind of putting out the vibe or whatever, but it just cuts to Sue and Trent, and they're just like locked in on this one chick who's smoking a cigar. Her name's Deirdre, redhead, short hair, backpack. Is this chick hot?
No. Okay. She's not. That's number one. But number two, I was going to mention this, but it was like too insane for me to even think about. She's smoking a cigar inside, I will add, at a party.
Like a mansion.
Just
right.
Out in the Hollywood Hills, they're at a party. This chick's like, I'm going to light up a cigar and just smoke inside. Not the only time this happens in the movie. Mike also smokes a cigar when they're getting breakfast at one point, maybe in Vegas.
Yeah.
But I just love that. They're just pulling a cigar out and smoking it. But is she hot? No. So you're wondering, why is Trent interested in her? Great question.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because then immediately after that, well, there's a whole thing where Trent rips up her number, and Mike's like, dude, you're an asshole. You ripped up her number. So then Mikey and Rob, they go to two other chicks in the party who also is coincidentally smoking a cigarette.
Inside.
Yep. And he kind of comes on to her, whatever, and her response is, what do you drive?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's her first response. He's like, I don't know. Doesn't work out, whatever. But they cast this chick. Is she hot?
She's certainly 90s hot.
Okay. So like, what's 90s hot?
I don't know. I don't even
explain that to me.
She's a normal looking chick who's somewhat attractive. I think it's more extreme with the Deirdre chick. The Deirdre woman. I believe it's a more extreme situation, what you're talking about. However, you are correct. And probably,
I guess, because to your point, they pump her up, Deirdre, to be like Trent and Sue are after her, right?
Short hair, red hair, dresses kind of whack. She's smoking a cigar inside. Very strange.
There's nothing wrong with short hair, by the way, but she has like short hair. She's like this weird aesthetic, and I'm like, what?
I get the impression that Trent's just a guy that is jovial and just goes up to anyone if the situation presents itself, and kind of maybe even works on his craft of picking women up if it doesn't lead anywhere.
Well, you know what the thing of it is too is they play like the Jaws theme when he's talking to her, because she's just talking and talking and talking. Well, what she's talking about is how she's becoming an actress, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should be an actress." I can tell you that I've met filming or at auditions 1,000 of these people.
Yeah.
And they're just like super outgoing, super annoying, selling themselves. See, it's like, get away from me. Literally, just get away from me. I can't be around you.
And it's not the way they're looking necessarily. It's the attitude.
No, the attitude. That they do portray it well.
Okay, so next scene is they leave the party in the hills and they decide to go to the Dresden.
The Dresden.
Again, Trent and Sue, they seem to really be on the same page. They make a great team. They get in there, they're both dialed in. You know, they get a booth. They're immediately scanning the crowd, see who's looking back at them, right?
Yeah.
They give a little speech to Mike. Get back over there. Get that number. You know.
Oh yeah, God.
Your money.
It's.
You don't even know your money. Your money.
And this funny thing is you see Mike's arc throughout this movie of like zero confidence at the beginning. And it's kind of cool because you can see his character really develop all the way to the end. And he's like right about the middle at this point. And he goes over to this chick and orders a drink. The bartender doesn't even notice him. The chick's like drinking a martini. Side note, the girl drinking this martini in this scene, I mean, it cuts to different camera angles. She literally must eat like 15 olives. I don't know if you picked that up, if you were noticing that, or it's
they
just
kept
like
putting the olives back on.
Schizo. No, dude, I'm telling you, she literally eats like 15 olives within these couple frames. Regardless, she's like, I think I know you, whatever. He put in an application with her at Starbucks, right? And he's like bragging about how he's doing so well. Regardless, he kind of shuts down, goes back to Sue and Trent, and they talk him up, and they're like, you got to get back in there, right? They build them all up, goes back, gets the number, take it from there.
It's crazy how when he initially goes over there, he's actually having good conversation, some good banter, a little self-deprecating humor. Shows that he doesn't really care that much. He's not dependent on the outcome of this being that he gets with her. So
right.
The attitude is much.
But as soon as she shows interest,
then it changes, and you see the change in his face, and then he becomes more awkward because he's like, "Oh wait, maybe I have a chance here."
And the funny thing I noticed too is he's playing with his shirt, the collar, and like the button, and he's getting like super nervous when she's talking, like showing interest in him, and he's playing with his collar. It's kind of funny.
And then, he does eventually then go back. He gets talked back into getting the number. And you have a very wild conversation take place where they have a discussion on how long he gets his number, he gets her number, takes it back to the booth. And the discussion turns into how long you wait before you call her. And it starts out,
right,
industry standard, 2 days. And then it's like, what constitutes a day? And then it goes from that to Trent being like, but you know what's kind of money is I wait 3 days.
3 days.
Is that money?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think that's money. Yeah. I think that's money. And then Mike chimes in, he's like, how about I wait 3 weeks? Well, how about I wait 3 weeks? I just tell her that, I was going through my wallet, I was cleaning it out, and the number fell out. And you have to be reminded, where did I meet you again?
This is like, this is pickup artistry stuff where you're discussing techniques on how to pick up women. This would be like a thing where these pickup artists would have these whole systems, and they would have all this stuff to say. So guys would have it on a piece of paper and go out to bars and like reference mystery method pickup lines. And then you go to attraction phase 2. And they would get so locked in on the specific rules and things to say that they wouldn't understand the psychology behind it. which is way more important. So you got guys here who are like, hey, we got to wait X amount of days to call, and here's why. And the psychology, of course, is, well, I have so much going on in my life that it took me 2 days to call you, right? But
right.
If you don't actually have stuff going on in your life and you're faking that and you just wait 2 days, that will come through in your energy somehow. I don't know how, but it will. They will smell it on you.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
they discuss this, and he's like, why? He doesn't understand the point. Like, why? I'll just wait 2 weeks. How about that? And then they go back to asking him, like, well, how long are you guys going to wait? And they both respond like 6 days.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, it's good banter. Good banter. Then, right, you have the best scene where they go out to the parking lot.
They go out
they
go to the parking lot, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you, where you mistakenly bump into some dude and it starts a fight. Has that ever happened to you in real life?
Yeah, I don't, not that I can recall. Maybe. I can't remember like what happened last week to me, so it's probably happened, maybe happened, who knows? But yes.
Like, I was in a bar in Manayunk one time, the brew pub, and it was ultra packed. And I bumped into someone, and I didn't realize it, but they were like starting this whole flipping out on me thing. But I just kept going, and it was so packed that I didn't even notice that they were behind me, and they were just talking to new people that shuffled in behind me. It was so fast. And then my buddy was like, oh, dude, that guy was pissed at you. I looked back, and I was like, it's too late. It's too late now. But anyway.
Well, funny story. Manayunk Brew Pub, same location.
Oof.
I can remember, I think this was how many years ago, but I was outside with my buddy, and my brother, his wife, and my wife, who is my girlfriend at the time, were being escorted out by the bouncer. And I was like, what happened? Like, they kicked us out. Sure enough, some girl, or my wife, turned around with a beer and bumped into some girl, like half her size. My wife's 6 foot tall, and bumped into this girl. And the girl, my wife was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like spilled beer on her. From what they told me, this chick pushed my wife, and then she just instinct, retaliatory, just threw her with like one arm into the actual band, the live band that was playing there, into the drum set. And then just got escorted out. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why people take bumping so seriously. It's obviously an ego thing. You're in a crowded bar. What do you expect to happen? Eventually, you're going to touch someone else, right? It's not. So,
well, I think in this scene, I think it's intentional.
It looks like it's intentional, but how, it's hard to tell sometimes, and I think the default mode is to call me crazy, not flip out, and call the people a bitch and pull a gun on them.
Well, as Sue says, we got to keep our credit.
They got it. So yeah, like
keep our rap.
Sue in this movie is completely ego driven. He gets his ego hurt by these random dudes just tapping him on the shoulder, and he says something under his breath, and the people turn around and ask him like, "What'd you say?" This whole pre-fight shit talk type thing,
right?
And then they keep yelling at each other, calling each other bitch over and over, which is kind of incredible. No, you're the bitch.
Yeah. Oh, what? Who's the bitch now? Yeah. And speaking of, what's that dude wearing on his head? It looks like a sleeve.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a fishnet shirt. Kind of big.
It's some kind of weird 90s thing. They were like, who would you describe those guys? Early white rappers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pre-Eminem white rappers, I guess.
What was 96? Who was that?
Couldn't even tell you.
Was that Beastie Boys?
Beastie Boys type vibe.
Who cares?
Yeah. So then Sue in his incredible rockabilly outfit. Yeah, you don't know this. He's packing a gun the whole time.
Oh boy.
No holster. just right in his waistband, pulls out a gun, holds it gangsta style.
Gangsta. Who's the bitch now?
Who's the bitch now? And the guys go running off, and they jump in a car. The car starts, and they're driving within a split second, which is kind of interesting to me. But then the rest of, like, there's a scene where he pulls a gun on the guys, and the rest of them, Trent, Mike, they're all like, "Oh my God, like, what's happening right now? What's going to happen?"
Right. Yeah.
And then they blame Sue for being a lunatic and pulling out a gun, which is correct. I mean, the guy's completely out of his mind if you're just pulling guns on people.
Right.
And believe me, I love guns. Maybe I do have a gun on me when I go to the bar.
You're Sue.
Right.
You're Sue in the group.
Except I'm not going to pull a gun on people because that's how you get arrested.
No, it's facts. Maybe not in the 90s though. But so then everyone bounces. Everyone's pissed at Sue, and Mikey kind of comes down on Sue pretty hard, and he says something to the effect of like,
"It's the opposite." Sue. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so then Mikey kind of comes down hard on Sue, and he's like, "You live in this fantasy world," and Sue just he's like, "What, dude? You are the one that lives in a fantasy world. You're crying about some chick that broke up with you a year ago." And then Mike chimes like, "It was 6 months." And then he just goes off on him. And then Mikey storms off, and Trent steps in being like the best friend, top guy. And he comes down on Sue, and he's like, shut up. I can't even look at you right now. And they get in this huge fight. But I'm not going to lie. I kind of agree with Sue on this one.
Yeah, he's correct. See, this is how I am an asshole in real life, is I would act like Sue, except not get mad about it. It's the reason that Sue's in the wrong here is because he's just responding to Mike flipping out for pulling a gun. He would never have said this because he's kind of going over the line in terms of being a nice friend. He's kind of going over the line a little bit, where he's just directly calling him out and doing it in a way that's him being an asshole.
Right.
But technically, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
And Mike says that later in the movie when they make up and everything.
Yeah, but Sue still apologizes about it. He
goes a little overboard. He does that because his ego's hurt because they're calling him out for being a lunatic. Best part about it, though, Trent immediately is like, "I'm shutting this down because I see where this is going, and I'm friends with Mike."
But it's a testament to how great of a friend he really is, because you can clearly see that him and Sue have a history and like they're boys. But he's pulling for Mike. He knows that lowest common denominator. This guy's going through a hardship, so I gotta protect him first, right? The psychology behind it, but at the end of the day, I guess he's overlooking the fact that the way Mike is living in this altered reality is okay because he's going through such trauma, right? But in actuality, Mike's 100% wrong, and he's basically coming to Sue like, you should be able to handle this, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, yeah, Sue was not wrong for standing up to him like, dude, what do you talk? I live in an altered reality? Bro, you're crying about this chick who left you a year ago. Get over it, dude. Because, I mean, he says it how many times when they're playing golf at the beginning, him and Ron Livingston, he's like, hey, did you notice? I didn't talk about it. You went the whole round of golf without talking about your ex after a year? So, yeah.
And then next scene is it cuts back to Mike's apartment. He's obviously distraught by the extreme things Sue was saying. It shows him sitting, I call it a True Detective apartment because like Russ Cole and True Detective, there's just nothing in it. It's like a table with an answering machine and nothing. And it's him sitting on the ground looking through old pictures of his ex-girlfriend. And it's like 2 days later, he hasn't shaved. He's all disheveled looking. He's obviously just been up all night. Multiple nights.
They're the same character with the same apartment for two different reasons. Yeah. Mikey can't afford it. Living in LA, Russ Cole's just like a schizo who doesn't want anything in his apartment. But anyway.
Both pessimists. At least at the beginning of the movie.
Facts. Right.
So Rob shows up the next day. And I think this is probably the best part of the movie.
You're probably right. I said the NHL thing, but this actually, in terms of, dialogue, is the best part of the movie. This kind of gives you full circle of what the message is here.
He actually gets through to Mike.
Exactly. Yep.
He gives a good pep talk here. It actually gets through to him because he says, Mike asks him if the pain ever goes away, because obviously Rob must have broke up with his girl at some point. And he says, yeah, it slowly goes away. We're at a point, you get to a point where it only hurts once in a while. You wake up one day and it doesn't hurt anymore. Right. And then he says something interesting. He says he misses the pain of it hurting sometimes because, it's a reminder. You get addicted to that pain because it's a reminder of what you had. And, when you break up with someone, it's like almost like someone dies because you're not going to talk to this person ever again. You're not going to be with this person. Right. So they're dead to you. And
all those things you took for granted, those daily things are now like the rug swept out from underneath you. It's a great pep talk. What he's saying is very true. There's no miracle cure for a breakup in general. And time actually, no matter how you put it, I said this is a great movie for a breakup, but time is actually the only cure.
And once he realizes that, he knows now, Mike, that it will dissipate the pain in time. If he knows that ahead of time, then he can deal with the pain easier because he knows that it's not going to be here forever. So it's going to go away. So Rob gets through to him that way. You could see the change in Mike. Mike gets up, pats him on the shoulder, is like, let's get something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. The character Rob also says, that's your problem. You don't look at the things you have. You only look at the things you don't have. Right. Because he's pumping up and he's like, look, you've made it. You're out in LA and right away, Mike says, oh, well, I didn't get this pilot or whatever. I don't have a job. I'm working whatever. But he says, these are the positives, the steps you're taking. You only look at the negatives. You don't ever look at where life is. You always strive to be better, but you can't discredit those things you're accomplishing as stepping stones along the way. So that's a pretty good quote there.
It's a great pep talk from Rob. I mean, you don't look at the things you have, you look at the things you don't have. Yeah, he's a pessimist. He's always looking at the things that he doesn't have. And it's weird too, because Trent's such a good friend and he does all these things because in Trent's mind, being being positive and being a very fun person to hang around, he's thinking to himself, how would I get over this situation, Trent? I would just go to Vegas, have a good time. I would go out to the bar, pick up new chicks, right? He doesn't realize that he needs to relate to Mike to get through to Mike in a way that Mike would get over it.
Right. And that's the thing. He does a good job of that because the other thing too is they're very different personalities. Right. Trent is very extroverted. Mike's very introverted, right? Even though throughout the movie he claims that he's a stand-up comic. But and an actor. But no, that's a good point. Yeah, it's he does a good job at relating to him, even though he's super extroverted. It's easy for him, right?
Okay, so then the next scene is they go out, to the bar again, to this place called the Derby. But before they do that, Mike and Sue, they again meet up at Sue's apartment, and Mike and Sue make up pretty much. They say sorry to each other
with the guys that he pulls the gun on.
Yes, and you find out how did they get there because Trent went and saw him and
talked him. Yeah, they saw each other at the bar later that night, and Trent talked them into hanging out. That's like the guy's magic.
Yeah, and then it's the swing music from the early 90s, the swing revival. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy is playing in the club, which is incredible to me.
Yeah, that's where he meets Heather Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. The rest of the movie's kind of just, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth discussing, to be honest with you, because he talks to her. It comes full circle. He learns from all these
he's a new
things
man
that happen throughout the film. Yeah.
After that talk.
Exactly.
With Rob.
Yep.
He's in the Derby and you see a different guy, basically.
Right.
And then it cuts back to Mike's apartment and he finally gets a call from his ex-girlfriend. And he's like, well, why didn't you call me or whatever? He's just you see a different guy on the phone here. Then,
yeah. Oh, yeah. His mood's totally changed.
Heather Graham calls and he's like, hold on, I got to take this call.
Something he would never do leading up to that. God could call him on the other line. He's not going to pick it up.
This is a different guy. This is a changed man, right?
But he's like, I got to pick up this new chick's phone call. Glossed over, but there's a diner scene there. All right. Where, I mean, after the Derby, it's got to be what, 2, 3?
Yeah.
They go to the diner and it's Sue, Trent, and Mike, and they're all proud of him, but they're drunk. And I honestly believe that Vince Vaughn might be drunk in this scene.
Yeah.
I mean, of course he's not in real life, but it seems like he does a good job. And he stands on the table and he's like, our baby boy's all grown up, because like Mike's talking like he doesn't need them anymore because his character has come full circle. It's like, I don't need you guys to coach me through this anymore, right? And he's like, oh, our little baby's all grown up. And he just like crashes out. He's standing on the table. Like it's incredible. Just Vince Vaughn, great.
Just totally flamboyant, kind of shaking around and everything. You see that in many later Vince Vaughn movies. It's vintage Vince Vaughn where he's like talking smack, being facetious, but still in a fun, jovial way.
Yes, that's his trademark.
All right, well,
yeah, but I mean that's the movie, right there. I mean it's pretty much, but it's cool because, like I said, it's cool how you can see Mikey's character kind of grow throughout the movie in all these different circumstances. That's why I said this movie is probably just these dudes' lives. This is probably a true story of Jon Favreau.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe it is. I don't know. I have to look that up. But the point being is it's comfortable enough that the way they shot this is like, this has to be the way it happened.
Yeah, apparently he wrote this after getting screenwriting software and just wrote it in like a week.
No way.
Which is...
Well, yeah, so then that's how you know it's personal.
Yeah. Put a lot of personal additives in this, I'm sure. Final Kino rating, sir. What do you think? Out of 10.
Ah, boy. Kino rating out of 10. I don't know. I learned from last week not to overrate movies, so I'll give this a strong 7.5.
Oh, yeah. We're in the same ballpark. This is one you're going to watch with your boys down the shore. You got a rotation of movies you're watching. You're watching this. You're watching Wedding Crashers, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one. The Wizard. It's a weird rotation, but no. This is definitely one. It's got a lot of replay value. But like I said, I think it's a good movie if you're going through some stuff. Not just a breakup, even, but like just if you're down in yourself, you can watch this movie.
Yeah.
It'll kind of build you back up.
Totally. I mean, I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I don't mean to pigeonhole it as a breakup movie, but yeah.
Well, it's not, but it also, I mean, it's very effective for that. But also, it's a great movie to kind of watch before you're going out to pregame.
That's true too.
Yeah. You get excited. You're saying you're calling each other money. Maybe you're even going to Vegas.
I don't know that I don't even know that it ever had that intention when they were making it. But yeah, no, it's for 1996. This is a great movie. It seems low budget. You know what I mean? The way that the camera is shot, this doesn't seem like
another
top tier
Miramax low budget movie that just blew up in the early 90s.
You give it an 8. What do you give it an 8 for?
Because for me, it's like a time capsule back to that period. Like, I loved the 90s, but
best era.
When you watch this movie, I see a lot of things like chain wallets, like the rockabilly shirts, like wearing wife beaters. There's a lot of things in this. Smoking inside, going to diners.
Oh yeah,
hanging out with your boys in the apartment. There's a lot of things that just remind me of stuff in my own life where I'm like, oh man, I love the 90s, which is kind of cringe to say, but it is what it is.
No,
also,
but
it's a very like good movie structurally wise.
Right, exactly. And you know, the way it's written, dialogue, yeah, whatever, but just the message and the way they convey it for a low budget movie is very well done.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. You know, episode 4 in the books, Swingers.
1996. Catch you on the next one.
See ya.